On September 7th, we'll experience one of the most powerful and destined turning points of the entire year, a total blood moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. This isn't just another eclipse. It's a moment of culmination and release that pushes us to face the places in our lives where we've been too perfectionistic, too rigid, or where we've been getting lost in the weeds of our mental rumination. The key to navigating this eclipse is balance. Think logic versus intuition, perfectionism versus flow, and the challenge of giving form to the formless. Not only that, but this eclipse is deeply karmic. It ties back to what was happening in your life back in March, and it sets the stage for the final chapter, which will be happening next spring. And with Jupiter exalted in Cancer trining this eclipse, there's the promise of fated blessings, unexpected opportunities, and life-changing clarity if you're willing to surrender control and flow with the astrological tides. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what this eclipse means, how it could play out for you and your sign, and why this moment could feel like a soul-level turning point, not just for you, but for the collective energies as well. And make sure you stick with me till the very end of this video because I'm going to be giving you a sneak peek of the upcoming pre-Equinox eclipse in Virgo. That's right, it's happening at 29 degrees. It's the second new moon in Virgo, so it is significant for a number of different reasons, and it's happening on September 21st, which is going to bring a full shift in the energy in a whole new direction. And before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an important astrology update. I post a new video for every new and full moon, for every major astrological transit, and of course for every eclipse, so you don't want to miss that. And let me know in the comment section below how this eclipse season is shaping up for you so far, and make sure of course you like this video if you enjoy astrology content. And if you're fascinated by eclipses and how they can act as deeply transformative turning points in your life, I actually have a full workshop that dives so much further into everything I'm talking about in this video and gives you insight into not just this eclipse season, but every eclipse season and how to gauge how strong, how weak, and how it's going to impact you personally. This also covers additional topics like your natal north and south node placement, the transiting north and south nodes, your natal post and prenatal eclipses, which is a topic that a lot of astrologers don't touch on, but is very important for understanding these big moments of fate, of destiny, where things take hold and shoot you off into a new direction in your life. And of course, we talk about what it means to be born near or under an eclipse, or to have an eclipse on your solar return for your birthday. All of that is included, and right now you can get it for 50% off during the eclipse season, so only $29 at the link down in the description below. I hope to see you in class. So this eclipse is an interesting one. It's all about creating boundaries where there are none and giving form to the formless. It's also about balancing thinking and overthinking with feeling, logic, intuition, because we have Pisces on one end of the spectrum. At the time of the full moon, the moon is in Pisces. That is the focal point of the eclipse. But with all eclipses, we have two sides of a spectrum being activated here, because we have the North Node, which is in Pisces, being activated, pulling us into this brand new fated turning point or culmination that feels exciting, that feels very new, that feels like something we've probably never encountered or tackled before, but it also feels a little bit scary. It's something that we might have hesitations around. It feels like we're making an important choice, but at the same time, our instincts, our gut tells us that we don't have a choice. There is something so compelling about this new direction, this new turning point, and intuitively we know that to be so. And if you have been bogged down by thinking, overthinking, by too much logic, by too much rationalization, and not allowing your creative, intuitive side, now's the time to find that balance. It's not just about what makes sense logically, because the eclipses don't care about that. They care about the path that you are meant to be moving into in this lifetime, and the eclipses are designed to get you there. And every time the eclipses shift signs, they have been happening in this Pisces Virgo axis. They've been happening in this Pisces Virgo axis since the spring. This is a new area where we're getting realigned with what our soul came here to learn, to accomplish, to grow into in this lifetime. in this specific area of our life. And that continues, this story continues for about a year and a half, where we keep getting nudged and pulled and forced into this new space. And the North Node being in Pisces has a lot to do with spirituality. It has a lot to do with intuition. It has to do with dissolving boundaries. However, this is also the last call for those Saturn and Pisces activations, because on September 1st, just a couple of days prior to this eclipse, Saturn retrograded back into Pisces for the final time. It's not going to be here for very much longer, and then it will move into Aries, where it will stay for about 2.5-ish years. This is the last chance to give boundaries where boundaries are needed in an area that's otherwise very fluid and very nebulous. This is also about taking what we envision for our lives and the visions and messages and downloads that are coming to us throughout this eclipse season, and creating a plan, learning how to put this into some sort of concrete, real life scenario and situation so we can build something real and sustainable out of it. There are going to be a lot of boundary issues coming up for people around the time of this eclipse. If you didn't deal with your Saturn and Pisces boundary issues, now is the time when you're going to have to, because every activation of Saturn and Pisces is going to bring that about. This time it's going to come about in a very fated, destined, karmic way, where it just feels like something is coming in and almost forcing your hand, where there's a new situation that you have to deal with. Something's been flipped on its head. Also be aware that this is an eclipse that is a full moon eclipse, so it's more about culminations. So the events that transpire, the turning points that happen, they are a continuation of this long story that's been going on for several months now, and that will continue to go on. And this is about something that might have come up maybe in the spring, coming to fruition, something that might have come up in a past eclipse cycle in Virgo and Pisces, so either like roughly 9 or 18 years ago, coming back up and reaching this point of manifestation or culmination. The other side of the spectrum, of course, is Virgo. And so the South Node right now is in Virgo. The South Node indicates an area where we can get bogged down by our past experiences, where we can get lost in the weeds already, because it's taking us into this space of wanting to stick to our comfort zones, but we have to release our comfort zones in order to break free and move into something new. It also indicates talents and gifts that we bring with us from those previous experiences in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes. And so when we have the South Node in the sign of Virgo, the thing that we are harnessing is that discernment, that Virgo discernment. But we also can't let ourselves be weighed down by our mercurial Virgo minds wanting everything to be laid out and organized in this really perfect way, because during the eclipses, that's not what's going to happen. The eclipses, as I mentioned before, are these destiny points where we have to move into a new direction, where we have to do something different, where we have to make a change, where fate is stepping in. And it's something that we agreed to theoretically before we were even incarnated into this lifetime, to have these experiences that are punctuated by these eclipses throughout our lives, especially the big ones that hit our charts really overtly. And if you don't know exactly where this chart is hitting you, make sure you download my free Astrology 101 quick reference guide. The link is down in the description below. It's going to help you understand all of your chart placements, where they are, and then you can match it up to what's going on with this eclipse. But that Virgo energy, not terrible. This entire eclipse energy is not terrible, with the exception of Saturn kind of being in the mix. But we have a couple of different things going on here. On the sun side of the eclipse, because an eclipse is always the sun, or a blood moon eclipse or a lunar eclipse is always when the sun opposes the moon at a full moon. The sun in Virgo is in a conjunction with Mercury, which normally would be like a bad thing. It would be combust, but it's actually in its chariot. Mercury is both at home and exalted in Virgo in traditional astrology. And so this is making it so it's being protected by being burned by the rays of the sun. This is not what's happening this time. This is actually increasing our ability to be discerning and rational and logical and to think things through, while also bringing in that balance of our intuition, the spiritual messages, the interdimensional connections that we might have with other realities, other universes, other things that are going on beyond the veil, depending on who you are and what you subscribe to. We also have Jupiter, like I mentioned at the start of this video, newly exalted in the sign of Cancer, making a very good trine with the moon, a sextile with the sun. This indicates to me that this is an eclipse where opportunities that are fated are presented to us, and we have to leap forward and take hold, even if we don't know all the details, even if we don't know exactly how it's all going to work out. Intuitively, we know that something is guiding us and that this is the right thing. And if you don't take a hold of those opportunities because you're afraid, you're going to have to still move into this new direction later on down the line, because the North Node is going to pull you there. You already agreed to this, whether you like it or not. But you're not going to have that support of Jupiter where you have the opportunities, you have the ease, you have the support to make it happen in a way that's not going to feel jarring or scary or negative in some way. That's what's going on with that Jupiter component. And those are really the biggest energies, because Jupiter is the dispositor of the moon, the ruler of this eclipse. And so what Jupiter's doing says a lot about what's going on with this eclipse and whether or not it's going to be positive or a little bit more challenging. And so Jupiter being exalted in the sign of Cancer in a trine with the eclipse is probably the best case scenario here. Not all eclipses are created equal, you guys. Most eclipses are nothing to be scared of, but they do bring change. They do turn our lives on their head, but often it's for a reason. And often it's something that we actually need, we actually want, and that we actually benefit from and enjoy in the end, even though getting there can be turbulent. Personally, I love the eclipses and the eclipse seasons. I was born near an eclipse, so if you watch the Karmic Power of Eclipses workshop, which again is 50% off for the eclipse season down in the description below, you'll know that people who are born near the eclipses, they tend to do better and fare better during the eclipse seasons than other people, because it's their natal energy, so it's not so jarring and scary. And so different people are going to be approaching this and reacting to it in different ways. So that is the gist of what's happening here. This eclipse is pretty straightforward. I really do like it. It is about pulling ourselves out of our heads and more into our instincts and our intuition, but also not negating or throwing away the baby with the bathwater, right? Like not completely turning off our rational brains. It's about combining those two worlds and those two energies. Now I'm going to be going through what this blood moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces means for all 12 signs. And make sure you listen to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for this eclipse season. Your rising sign is the most predominant energy, your sun sign will be secondary, and your moon sign is important to listen to as well, although this energy will be more internalized and subjective. Eclipses impact everyone differently. There could be other things going on in your chart, which is why I highly recommend, and I always give a discount on the Karmic Power of Eclipses during eclipse season, because it really is here to help you navigate not just this eclipse season, but all the ones in the future, and even to make sense of the ones that you've had in the past. And so definitely check that out, and also make sure you download the Astrology 101 quick reference guide to figure out more details, because if this eclipse is conjunct your sun, your Mars, your midheaven, which we talk about in the Karmic Power of Eclipses too, this is going to be a different energy, right? So you want to make sure that you're checking all the boxes and really understanding and seeing what's coming for this eclipse season. The other thing I do want to mention before we get into the all 12 signs forecast is that there are two big activations of this eclipse post-eclipse, in between eclipses. So this eclipse is happening on September 7th, right? The next eclipse is on the 21st. In between, we're going to have a couple of north and south node activations. So the first one is the sun. So the sun is obviously in close proximity to the south node at the time of this eclipse in Virgo, and it'll make its exact conjunction on the 10th of September. And so even though the eclipse is on the 7th, it's still going to be very active and strong on the 10th of September and the 11th of September, because that's when Mercury, which is the dispositor of the moon, which is in its chariot, so it's not being burned, that's going to be in a conjunction with the south node as well. So that period is almost like something is revealed about the eclipse. And I should also mention that prior to the eclipse coming exact, there's always something about the situation that's unfolding in your life, the eclipse situation, the fated karmic situation that's being eclipsed to you, where you're not seeing it all the way. And the first rational message that you'll get, the first knowing that is going to be really important about what's happening and why, and the reveal, like the first reveal, that's going to happen around the 10th and 11th. And really, you're going to be feeling very eclipsy all month long. Stick around to the end and I'll talk about the solar eclipse that's happening in the sign of Virgo on the 21st. So for Aries and for Aries rising, this total blood moon eclipse is happening in your 12th and 6th house along that axis. There's something that you might have been trying to figure out very logically, very rationally when it comes to 6th house topics and themes, which have to do with your work, employees, people who are in service of you that you hire for different things. So maybe you've been trying to find a contractor to help you out around the house with something. Maybe you are in a position where you hire employees for your business or for your company. There could be something fated coming in to take you out of your head and help you solve it by actually taking a break or taking a rest from it. This is also an energy where there could be some sort of fated karmic circumstances that are changing your life trajectory and moving you in a new direction when it comes to either an illness or a health issue that has been already in the forefront of your consciousness, that you realize you have to take a break or take a step back or approach it differently or approach it through rest. There could also be the need to take on a caregiver role for somebody in your family, or it could be that your family member steps up to help take care of you in some way. There could also be fated circumstances that show up around animals or pets, large or small animals in this particular circumstance, where a new animal comes into the mix and it feels fated, it feels karmic. It might feel like you have already had this pet this entire time and it's just already been here and it just feels very natural to you. That could be part of this as well. There could be definitely changes to your job, to your work, and to your day-to-day experience. This is a time where I would say if you are dealing with health issues, that the solution or an opportunity can come to you, and it might come to you through your immediate home environment or through a family member to find the healing that you actually need to move forward in a different way. Your dreams are going to be very synchronistic. They're going to be very prophetic. If you don't already do, write down your dreams, keep a dream journal. They're probably going to tell you about what's going to be happening, not just this eclipse season, but a lot of the things in your dreams right now will show back up in real life in March of 2026. And so you're going to want to be able to reflect back on that when it does happen. For Taurus and for Taurus rising. So for Taurus, this full moon, total blood moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 11th house, which is friends, social networks, groups of people that you surround yourself with by choice. New friendships are coming into the mix for you, Taurus. This could be wonderful. These are people that feel very fated, very karmic. They feel you are meant to meet up with these people, and these people are going to bring you some really incredible opportunities through their ideas, through their communications, through the community that they invite you to become a part of. You've gone over these last 2.5 years through a major purge and letting go and release of friends and social situations and circumstances and clubs and organizations that are not aligned, that are not loyal, that are not long lasting, like any fair weather friends, drinking buddies, things like that. You've probably been letting them go. And so now is the time where you've been making space and new friendships, new connections that are definitely a part of your destiny are coming in. This is also a time where there could be something that's been going on involving your children, or that you've been thinking about and maybe overthinking when it comes to just a particular topic or situation that's been weighing on you involving your children. And it could be that your social circle broadens your horizons, your new friendships help you to solve that problem. And definitely this is a time where your passions are going to merge with your friendships. And so you might join some sort of group or club that's connected to the things that you love, and the people there are going to be totally on the same page with you. So I love that energy. For Gemini and for Gemini rising, this total blood moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 10th house, which is the house of career and public reputation. This is a time where some sort of big energy around career is shifting and coming to a major point of culmination. There's something that might have started either back in March or maybe even 9 or 18 years ago that's coming back around, and that you are fully committing or recommitting yourself to, that is bringing about these opportunities that are very financially lucrative, I would say. For Geminis, this is a moment where the new direction that you're heading in your career is going to pay off financially. There might be a move involved or a need to change something involving your home environment or your family dynamic in order to make this happen, but it's definitely a possibility. You've already been working so hard, Gemini, over these last couple of years to set really good foundations for your career path moving forward. There might have been limitations or restrictions on your ability to move forward in your career. This is that last hurdle that you have to overcome, and the eclipse is helping you to do that. For Cancer and for Cancer rising, this total blood moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 9th house, which is the house of travel. It's the house of your religious and philosophical ideologies and belief systems that frame this reality. It's the house of shifting your perspective. It's the house of education and learning and changing or challenging your mind in some way. And so all of these things are potentials and possibilities where you're going to be moving into a new direction. Some of you might be starting a higher educational pursuit or program. Some of you might be going back to school, going to college or something along those lines. Some of you might have really important, very fated travel opportunities. And if you're traveling around the time of this eclipse, it was meant to be. There are some challenges, but there are also so many blessings. You're going to be completely fine. This eclipse was meant to take you to this place because it's a place that you needed to visit in this lifetime to get you on the right path, to help open your mind or your perspective to something that you couldn't otherwise see. This eclipse is life-changing in the way that it shifts your mindset and your mentality. It opens you up to different belief systems that you wouldn't otherwise have held to or even entertained prior to this time period, and it helps you get out of your rational mind and way more into your spiritual practice. This is a great time for spiritual study as well. Lots of benefits are going to come to you, but you have to create your own luck in this situation. It's not going to be hard to do, though. You're going to know exactly what to do. And then for Leo and for Leo rising, this blood moon total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces is happening in your 8th and 2nd house, which means big shifts in your finances are coming up, Leo. This is where your partner could suddenly have a shift in their income. I would say that there could be a little bit of a restriction or something that you have to overcome in order to unlock it fully. Like maybe there's one last little debt that you have to pay off, and there's an opportunity here. And that opportunity comes through an investment or a tax refund or an outside source or through a partner, and you're able to finally move forward. There could be an old debt that comes back around that you do have to revisit and repay, and it could be a little bit challenging, but there's a hidden influence or a hidden support system that's going to come in and help you deal with it. There's definitely new financial opportunities and a big shift in your financial situation coming. Personally, this looks like it's more to do with outside influences financially and like investments or other people's money or money that you share, or something about an insurance payout or inheritance or something like that. But there is something shifting here, and I like it for the most part. Don't overthink it. So if you are trying to overcome one last financial hurdle right now, don't overthink it. Intuitively, you're going to be led in the right direction to make that happen so you can let it go and you can move on once and for all, probably by the start of next year. And then for Virgo and for Virgo rising, this total blood moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces is happening on your 7th house. So it's on that first 7th house axis, which is always a big game-changing, life-changing energy. And if you are a Virgo sun and you're born anywhere within the first week of September, especially I would say the 3rd through, what would that be, like the 10th, 11th, this is going to be a major turning point, pivotal moment year for you where everything changes and a lot is culminating. That's very fated. That's meant to bring you in a completely new and better direction that's more aligned with your destiny. And in general, if you're especially a Virgo rising, that's what's happening. There could be a major shift or change that comes through a partner or somebody that you're close with, through a relationship or through a contract, that throws your whole life upside down. There are faded new connections coming in with friendships, opportunities coming through your social circle and social situation, and the friends that you already have, and maybe even some new ones that come in that feel very important, that feel very synchronistic, that you feel very compelled to connect with, that this is going to change your life. Like, your life was going one way and now it's completely thrown into a whole new path, and you feel good about that. This is less about you figuring out what you want, need, and desire and overanalyzing that and following somebody else's lead at the time of this eclipse season. That's where the opportunities will show up for you. For Libra and for Libra rising, this eclipse is happening on your 6th and 12th house axis. There is a big turning point or something really important, like a new development happening involving your work, involving your health, or involving your day-to-day routines. There could be a new animal or pet coming in for you this fall. There could be a faded new connection with an animal or a new pet, or something faded or karmic that shows up involving animals that is actually very beneficial for you. There's also something really powerful, like an opportunity coming for you involving your career that could funnel into your day-to-day work, or it could involve hiring the right person, the right support for you to really expand and grow your career goals over the course of the next year very easily. There's definitely a need to rest and to turn off your brain. I think you're going to be having a lot of epiphanies while you're at this point of rest. So like meditation, sleep, anything where you're not actively thinking is where your best ideas and your best plans are going to come from at the time of this eclipse season and really over these next couple of weeks. But there is a shift here. There could be something new coming in that helps you with your health. There could be a new circumstance that comes in involving potentially some sort of caregiver role, or letting go of that and hiring someone else to do it for you so you have more space freed up for work. That could definitely be a part of it too. If you are looking to hire someone for any purpose, doesn't mean that you have to be an employer, like in terms of having a business, but the right person is coming in. So it could be that you're trying to hire a contractor to remodel something in your house, or a mechanic to fix your car, or whatever it is. The right person, there's like a faded connection that could come in. Also, there could be a healer that could come into your life that's faded as well. For Scorpio rising, this full moon, blood moon, lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces looks pretty good for you, Scorpio. So the moon is going to be trine your ascendant sun or moon. It's going to be making a grand trine with Jupiter and your ascendant sun or moon. Out of all of the zodiac signs, your eclipse looks like it's the most positive. There are opportunities coming in to expand your horizons, to expand your mind, to learn something new, to teach something new. This is an energy where you get to expand on your joy. Something is coming into your life that's going to bring you much more joy that's faded, that's karmic. There's also old connections with friends are going to be showing back up around this time, and they might have a newfound interest in the things that you're interested in. So you're going to be able to go out and have fun, to do more things out and about in the world with the people that you care about, especially people from your past or new people that are coming in that feel familiar, that feel like family, that feel like you already know them. There's a familiarity to your social connections, not just now, but like really this whole year, but especially around the time of this eclipse. It's also a lot of really good communication coming in from your friends, but don't let what they're saying overshadow what you feel in your heart or what you know you need to move into right now. There was a hurdle or a roadblock to you experiencing joy over the last couple of years, the last 2.5 years. This is the last little hurdle and you are ready to overcome it. You know exactly what to do. And there could be a lot of travel opportunities coming out of this for some of you as well. I really like this. Overall, this feels very like you're being pulled in a faded new direction, but it's gentle and it feels very joyful. It feels very expansive. It feels like a lot of fun. For some of you who have children, there could be a faded circumstance that comes up around your children that's very positive, involving their schooling or involving a trip or just involving your children in general, or a hurdle that you were working to overcome over these last couple of years that finally you get the momentum going. All right. And then for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. For you, this eclipse, this blood moon total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces is happening in your 4th house, which is the house of home, family, property, and real estate. There's been a lot of focus on career, on really trying to figure out and map out your career goals and plans moving forward rationally, logically. But there have been faded circumstances that have just been coming up quite naturally for you when it comes to the progress that you've been looking for in your career, especially right now during Virgo season. Now's a time where you're going to be focusing a little bit less on that and realizing that you need to focus on your roots. What's going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors? What's going on in your home life? Your family is important, and there's going to be a big fated shift involving your family. This could also be a big move for some people that could impact your career in a positive way, where you have to maybe let go of one career path or one job in order to move to a location that's better suited for you and your family. And that's going to open up opportunities that just come to you very naturally, that are aligned with your innate talents and gifts. There's also big financial opportunities. So there could be a property investment or something along those lines, or money that comes in through family or for your family right now, or through a partner. So if you're married or in partnership with someone, there could be money that comes in that you're able to funnel into a really important project in the home, and it comes up in a way that's very fated. But there's definitely big changes going on in your home life and your home environment. It's a culmination of something that's come up in the past that now is really coming to fruition, because the blockages are no longer there. They're like on their last leg. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this full moon in the sign of Pisces is happening in your third house, which is the house of your neighbors, your neighborhood. It's the house of your mindset. It's the house of education. It's the house of short distance travel and vehicles, your commute. There could be something changing in that area of your life, but there's also this really beautiful energy here where you have to do something different when it comes to your immediate environment or your connections in your community. There's somebody in your life that's going to provide a really important opportunity. It could be a partner or a significant other. It could be somebody that you're close to. It could be somebody that you have a one-to-one situation or interaction with, but there's an opportunity coming in through someone else, and that's going to impact something really important in terms of your connection with your community. There's also a need to branch out and learn something new, not so rationally and so logically, and not so big picture either. It's like a more basic level skill that's more creative or intuitive that you've been blocked from learning or understanding. There could also be a new vehicle or a travel opportunity that comes in through a partner, or to go somewhere with a partner. If you get that opportunity, absolutely take it, because you are meant to go to this location. That location is going to really just be a paradigm buster. Like, going there is going to change your mind about something, and that change of your thought processes is going to reverberate out into other areas of your life and shift things in a really big way. There could also be a fated karmic circumstance that comes in to change something or to pull you in a new direction in your relationship with your siblings, if you have any. And it could be very beneficial, where if you weren't close with your siblings, especially these last couple of years, if there are blockages from that, from being close to them, like physically in proximity, or like emotionally and psychologically close to them, that relationship could be repaired as a result of the events of this eclipse. And then for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, for you guys, the full blood moon lunar eclipse is happening in your second house. There have been money blockages, Aquarius, and they are on their way out of your life. You got a little taste of getting Saturn out of your second house when Saturn moved into Aries. It moved right back on September 1st at 29 degrees in the sign of Pisces. So it's back in your second house. However, this is the last little hurdle that you need to overcome to unlock your greatest financial potential. And these opportunities are coming in full force this eclipse season. You're going to be able to really understand logically and rationally how to balance your budget, how to make investments, how to cash in on things, how to pay off debts. Like, that's going to start coming very naturally to you right now. But there's also some sort of opportunity, especially involving like work or hiring the right person to help you with managing your money. It could be that you were just restricted because you're saving for something that's a really big, important purchase. And now's the time where it comes up in a way that's very fated and very synchronistic and very important. There's definitely something going on here where there's could be a need to spend money on something involving your health or fitness or some sort of medical thing, but it's like the money's there and it provides a really good opportunity and a good healing for you. And there could also be the need to shell out some money or something where your finances are tied in with something involving animals, because that is a sixth house topic or theme as well. Again, the money's there and it's a good thing. But I would say this more looks like for most of you that you're getting some new work that's providing financial opportunity that's very fated, and it feels like you just have to do it. It's compelling in that way. Or there is someone that you're hiring that's helping you better yourself in terms of your financial situation. For Pisces and for Pisces rising, the full moon, blood moon, lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces is in your sign, obviously. This is all about you, Pisces. This is a big culmination point. This is where you need to shift your trajectory, where less about figuring out what other people want, what they need, what they're saying about what you're trying to do, and more about following your intuition, your instinct. This is more about you intuiting and knowing where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do, because your whole life is up for change right now, Pisces, especially if you have your sun, moon, or rising anywhere near 15 degrees in the sign of Pisces. This is a big karmic turning point. Everything's being turned upside down in a positive way. Jupiter's in your 5th house. There could be an opportunity involving children. If you're somebody who's been wanting children, this could absolutely unlock that or bring that into your life. If not, this is just an energy where joy becomes a bigger part of your life finally. You've had Saturn sitting on you, weighing on you, making you feel the weight of responsibility, making you understand the limitations and restrictions that you have created in your own life through your choices over these last 30 years. This has been you burdening yourself and unburdening yourself for 2.5 years now. This is the last hurdle. This is the last unburdening with Saturn. And this new moon is giving you some of the fruits, the benefits of all of that hard work, that labor. And you're going to get to do things that bring you joy. This is also potentially a new partner coming in. This is a great energy for romance and for one-on-one connection, or for rekindling connection in your current romantic situation, or just really good things happening in partnership. I love this. But you could be moving, you could be changing relationships, you could be changing career, you could be changing like your wardrobe, like everything right now is open for change. So just be open to exploring and following the signs, the synchronicities, the compulsion that you feel to go in this direction that feels really strong. It feels like a choice, but it's not. And there's something big in your life that you need to change that's going to reverberate out into all areas of your life, but especially in relationships and in your connections with other people. So that's what's going on for Pisces and for Pisces rising. So as promised, I do want to touch on the solar partial eclipse in the sign of Virgo that's happening on the 21st of September. So this is the second Virgo new moon. So that first new moon was showing you an area where you might have needed to change something. That full moon that was literally at 0 degrees in the sign of Virgo in August. This one is showing you where you need to let something go. This is a big energy of finally moving past that Saturn hurdle that we've talked about, that you're getting an opportunity to work with a little bit during this eclipse. The second eclipse is where you're really going to come against this opposition of this hurdle. So essentially, you want to reset. You want to let go of something. You want to move on so that way you can move into something new. But Saturn is opposing the new moon energy in Virgo. Saturn is opposing this eclipse. And so it's saying, no, you still have these responsibilities. You have to tie up these loose ends. You can't just leave things unfinished like this. You have to actually take responsibility for what's going on here and work on doing the things that are necessary to let it go responsibly. And so this eclipse is like a cosmic frustration. It's showing you that you need to do something. There is an energy here where a big fated change is coming and needs to happen, but it's showing you where the circumstances of your life are not allowing for that to take place. And so in my next forecast in roughly 2 weeks, I'm going to walk you through how to deal with these hurdles, how to work on and work through the energy, and how to unleash the positive potential of this otherwise very frustrating partial solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss that, because I don't think you do. Eclipse season is super important. And let me know in the comment section below how you're doing this eclipse season. Make sure you check out the Karmic Power of Eclipses workshop. Again, 50% off, only $29 through the eclipse season. I do this because it's super important, you guys. I want you to understand what's going on here and how to work with the energy way more precisely than I can do in a general forecast. So the link for that is down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it with a friend who you know needs help navigating this eclipse season, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.